Hi, good evening, and welcome to everyone. It's our fourth episode of the Why Forward, where we discuss about startup branding. So, the Why Forward is here to help brave founders build an ambitious and world changing startup. So, we help you turn customers into an army of loyal advocates, launch offers so good that they'll feel stupid about saying no, and then create content that captures not only views but also hearts and minds. So today our topic will be more about B2C versus B2B branding. So founders are usually presented with two choices when they try to create their business model. So it's either they serve other businesses or they serve uh, consumers or customers directly. So with that in mind, it's very important that we should be able to differentiate between those two so that we know what type of branding we can we should approach it with to make or break our business. So, but before that, before I proceed to the topic, um, for the listeners out there in the live stream, um, which kind of brand is your business at, or does it belong to the B2B brand or does it belong to the B2C brand? Business to business or business to consumer? So send me a heart if you are a B2B brand, and send me a star if you're a B2C brand. Or if you serve B2B businesses, send me a heart. If you serve B2C customer businesses, then also send me a star. It's up to you. So how many listeners do we have right now? Oh, we have nine at the moment. That's good. All right. So just to proceed to our discussion for today, um, I would like to discuss about the differences between B2B and B2C. So B2B is more on business to business. So these are usually large corporations or brands that serve other businesses. If one example is um, a fuel supply that helps other fuel stations, which are also businesses, distribute fuel to consumers or uh, to drivers or vehicles. Right. So that's one example of a B2B business. While B2C is business to consumer, and it's more about directly serving the consumer instead of having a middle man or a middle establishment to distribute directly to the consumer. So one business model that we can set an example could be Apple. Like Apple has a store, an online store. Actually, Apple is both B2B and B2C. So let's try to have another example. So one another example could be a clothing store, your favorite brand inside the mall. Let's just say Forever 21. So Forever 21 serves the shoppers inside the mall, inside their booth or inside their establishment directly because they're consumers. They are consumers that buy the clothes there, but they don't necessarily plan to sell it to others, right? So, and that's one example of business to consumer kind of brand or kind of business. Now, the differences between the two are really um, distinctive. So B2B versus B2C, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to B2B, they're more on the logical side. When they present their products, they brand themselves, they focus more on the logical side of the business. They try to make it more logical, make it more functional in their branding, while B2C is really more emotional. So for them, they try to trigger emotions, they try to trigger uh, the hormones that trigger emotions inside of us. So that's the way how they uh, position themselves. And for the basis, B2B is more on fear based. Like um, they try to position themselves as the one who can alleviate all your fears, while B2C, they try to position themselves as the one who can fulfill your desires. So B2B is fear based, B2C is desire based most of the time. Not necessarily everyone does this. But for Drive, B2B is more on necessity, while B2C is more on impulse. So necessity is more on um, because businesses have they have to save budget, they have to save costs, they have to save time and keep productive increase productivity increasing. So they make decisions out of necessity, right? That's the drive between their brand. That's the drive in in their branding and decision making or in their operations. While in B2C, they try to get you on impulse. Like one example could be a 50% off sale. So for consumers, that could be they get triggered by the scarcity and the urgency behind that. So they act on impulse. So that's one way of differentiating the two. And when it comes to targeting, B2B is more broad. So that means that they try to expand as much uh, to different markets. So yeah, for example, if you're a clothing uh, clothing factory, you try to serve a fashion brand, you try to serve an outdoor brand. So there's a lot of targeting there when it comes to B2B. Well, for B2C, it's more on, since it's already the targeting is in a sense is already so broad, but they try to go deeper on the persona or the avatar. So how do they describe this type of person that they're trying to target? So the targeting there is deeper. Like they try to know the story behind this person or behind this target persona. They try to find their desires, fears. They try to find the archetype. There are so many factors. That's why it can be called a deeper type of targeting instead of broad. And for focus, where well B2B is more on niche or market focused. So just like what I said a while ago in the targeting, they try to focus more on the market, while B2C is more on the persona, the personality of the customer, while B2B is more on the needs and uh, needs and is needs and wants of the market. And when it comes to market size, B2B targets B2B are more like they're smaller. They have a smaller market size compared to B2C, which is large, because sometimes B2C targets uh, a lot of different niches, while B2B is really focused on this certain niche. But their transactional size here is larger. So even though if they're just targeting this type of niche, like for example, in the fuel supply analogy, let's say if you're a B2B business that focuses on fuel distribution, import, and exportation, um, your market size could be fuel stations, which could be a certain number, but the transactional size is large because that's in bulk volume. While in B2C, let's say that's the fuel station, you're the B2C business, you're the fuel station, your market size is everyone who has cars. So that's a large market size. But the transaction per person or per transaction, the size per transaction is smaller, right? So I hope you understand that analogy. While in the sales cycle, B2B usually has a long cycle because of the nature of the transactional size, which is very large. There's a lot of persuasion, negotiating involved when it comes to the sales cycle of the B2B business. While in the B2C business, it's much more shorter since the transactional size is small. There's lesser risk involved for the buyer, and that's why it's much easier to persuade or convince a buyer to buy the product of a B2C business or brand. So those are some of the differences there in B2B versus B2C branding. So they have different target audiences, buying processes, sales cycle, marketing approaches, and branding elements. But what I've observed nowadays, especially in after the pandemic, most brands right now in their business models, they try to fuse B2B and B2C. Because if you try to focus only on one type of business model, sometimes it won't be enough to make your business survive. So, one way for you to fuse these two is that in your business model, when you try to have a premium offer or a much higher value offer, you try to offer it to other businesses. While on the lower side, your intro offers or your um, starter kits, essential accessories, all those other smaller value products, you try to push that to your consumer, uh, yeah, your consumer market. So one example could be, for example, your core product is, let's say, it's an app. It's a productivity app geared towards busy freelancers. Let's just say it's something like that. So the B2 side of it could be that you're directly serving freelancers. They pay a subscription for them to for you to help them more productive through your app. The B2B side there could be getting them to white label your productivity or your project management app so that they can use it in their agency. So that's one way of fusing the B2B and B2C side of the business models. Those two different business models, when you try to fuse them, that's one way. So I guess that's it for our topic for today, B2B versus B2C branding. Now, we're open to some questions. If you guys uh, have any questions about B2B or B2C, specifically when it comes to how to craft their message, craft their branding, create their offers. So just let me know in the comments below. We'll give you some time to the viewers here in the live stream. Oh, and by the way, um, just want everyone to know that this live stream will become another episode of our podcast, The Why Forward. The three episodes are already out. So if you want to listen to the first three episodes, you can try to search The Why Forward by Dave Swico inside of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So make sure to view it, guys, and I hope you get some value from there. So I guess there are no questions at the moment. So we'll just move on. So if you guys are uh, wondering if your ideas need to be validated, if you are trying to create a business right now, we have this ultimate business idea launch workbook that could really help you for when you are trying to create your business from scratch, from idea to launch. So this is what we call the growth mindset program, just to help you have that startup founder and business entrepreneur mindset that will help you become successful. So you either scan the QR code here or get the link on the comments below, I which is already sent there in the comments. So just let me know. Yeah. So Patty here said that her client might need this. So yeah, definitely. Just um, Patty, you can contact me anytime if your client need this. So yeah, I guess this is it for now for our fourth episode of the Y Forward. Hope every one of you is having a great time, and it's already February here, and it's the month of love. So I hope that everyone is there are a lot of events right now from January to February. So I know it's really busy, and I hope that everyone here is thriving. So I guess that's it. Bye for now.